and welcome to Updates in Global Research. This is Dr. Rodney Davis, and my topic for this brief session is conducting global research. Specifically, I want to present to you a tool that will help you to begin exploring this new and growing area of research. No, I'm not going to speak about a specific line of research or a particular discipline even. I'm going to take a few minutes to speak with you about a book that you should add to your personal library. At the end of this session, I will give you a web address where you can download a copy of this book free of any charge. With the advent of new technologies and a leveling of the playing field brought on by access to high-speed internet, research is becoming a global concern. More research is being conducted in more countries and by more researchers than at any time in history. Because technology has made it possible and even practical, more connections are being made by researchers to other researchers. Geopolitical borders are no longer barriers to acquiring education and training for 21st century researchers, nor is it hampering the exchange of ideas and interdisciplinary collaboration. The current global research enterprise is causing significant growth in our understanding of the world around us. Buckminster Fuller, who created the knowledge doubling curve, determined that up to the year 1900, human knowledge doubled about every 100 years. By 1945, knowledge was doubling every 25 years. Today, it's not as easy to determine how fast knowledge is increasing, as different types of knowledge advance at different paces. For example, nanotechnology knowledge doubles about every 2 years, and clinical knowledge takes about 18 months to double. But on average, human knowledge doubles every 13 months. Researchers at IBM predict that with the Internet, it will not be long before knowledge doubles every 12 hours. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google Incorporated, said in the year 2010, "Every 2 days we are creating as much new information as we did from the dawn of civilization to the year 2003. That works out to be 5 exabytes of data every 2 days. Now, some critics have pointed out that this number is not accurate and that it is probably much higher. But to gain some perspective on quantifying this vast amount of information, if we were to put 5 exabytes of information on compact disks, the stack would stretch from the Earth to the Moon and halfway back to the Earth. This is phenomenal. This growth of new knowledge is directly related to the growth in these international research linkages. While this growth in knowledge seems unstopped for the foreseeable future, it is fragile and not without its pitfalls. Unethical behavior, irresponsible reporting of findings, and questionable methodologies pose a great threat to the research industry. Fabrication of data, just one threat, could damage the reputation and credibility of scientific research. There have been many high-profile cases of unethical research behavior in the last few years that have made international news. With journal article retractions and the difficulty of reproducing the results from widely touted research studies, the questions of academic integrity are generating a great deal of interest. According to John Bohannon, 2 former Pew Research Group researchers, Michael Robbins and Noble Kyriakos, developed a statistical test for detecting fabricated data in survey answers. When they applied their statistical test to more than 1,000 public data sets from international surveys, about 1 in 5, or 20% of the surveys, failed, indicating a high likelihood of fabricated data. While the researchers admit that their test is not designed for all types of surveys, but instead designed for large-scale opinion surveys, their test is appropriate for detecting fabrication. In this situation is serious, and scientists and other researchers must remain focused on protecting the integrity of research processes. It is their task to ensure that data is not misused or misreported. In addition, they are responsible to prepare the next generation of researchers to ethically and unbiasedly conduct their research. In response to these trends, the world's national scientific academies, working through the Inter-Academy Partnership, at one time called the Inter-Academy Council, launched a project on research integrity in the year 2010. The first document produced was a policy statement entitled Responsible Conduct in the Global Research Enterprise, a Policy Statement. Published in 2012, this report outlined the foundational values that support research, as well as the principles and guidelines for those within the global research enterprise. Now fast forward 4 years. In February of 2016, the Inter-Academy Partnership released a new report entitled Doing Global Science, a Guide to Responsible Conduct in the Global Research Enterprise. Building on the work of the 2012 report, Responsible Conduct in the Global Research Enterprise, a Policy Statement, the current report was developed for students, researchers, and public and private organizations involved in research as they strive to maintain research integrity. It is a guide for the global researcher to conduct responsible research. The document addresses traditional and recent issues to scientific research. The document was written from a global perspective so that it could be applied in a variety of settings and in any country. It is more than just a guide because it could be used as a part of a research training seminar or a mentoring program, as well as the source of fruitful collegial discussions. New and veteran researchers would benefit from this practical guide as it outlines the acceptable and unacceptable behavior that must be avoided in an environment that is constantly being shaped and reshaped by globalization. The guide is divided into 10 chapters following the research process. The even-numbered chapters deal with issues related to the process of conducting research. So, Chapter 2 covers planning and preparing for research. Chapter 4 discusses implementing research. Chapter 6 addresses unethical and irresponsible research practices, while Chapter 8 presents reporting your findings, and finally Chapter 10 discusses communicating with policymakers and the public. The odd-numbered chapters present broader issues related to performing research. So, Chapter 3 discusses the researcher's responsibility to try to prevent the misuse of research and the related technology. Chapter 5 discusses the researcher's responsibility to society in planning and carrying out research. Then Chapter 7 discusses aligning incentives with responsible research. And then finally, Chapter 9 then deals with the benefits and challenges of international collaboration. There is an appendix which contains a list of references as well as some resources that would be useful to the researcher. By no means an all-encompassing list, it provides a source for further reading on the topics presented within each chapter. The foremost premise of the guideline is prevention is better than cure. Greater effort must be placed on properly training new researchers rather than printing journal article redactions and suffering from the public embarrassment that comes with a scandal, so that we can speed the advance of knowledge and the positive impacts of research, so the authors say. Do not be put off or deceived by the title. Even though the phrase doing global science is contained within the title, it is not only for those doing scientific research. I believe that this brief guide will be useful to researchers in non-scientific fields as well. Every discipline could benefit from reviewing these internationally harmonized standards of conduct. A free copy of this report can be obtained by going to this website, www.interacademycouncil.net/24026/29429.aspx. This has been a Global Update in Research with Dr. Rodney Davis.